My legs start to shake by the time I enter the building, you know. But I that was a good job, because before that I was working in, I think, Burger King or some stupid crazy jobs, you know. Everything is new, you know. I was exposed to a lot of things at the same time, you know. So if you have, like, let's say 30 days of holiday, if you don't take the holiday for this year, let's say, you know, you cannot carry over all the holidays, you know. So
Okay, so talking about the work-life balance, how much is the working hours for an employee in Germany?
So it ranges, and it's an average like 40 is an average, and so there are companies that they have like 37, you know. Also there are rare occasions where 35, you know. So from 35 to 40, so anywhere around this, so 38, 40 is quite standard.
Yeah. And then you have Saturdays, Sundays off, and you get break of 1 hour in between, right?
Yeah, so it also depends on the company. So it's usually 1 hour, you know, and so I think in startup scene it's a bit different, you know. In an established bigger companies, for example, the one I was before, Coracle, after the 6th hour, the system automatically takes an hour as a break. So if you work 7 hours and then you clock out, your work is only calculated for like 6 hours, because they say after 6 hours you must take a break, and the break is 1 hour. So it's for your health and you know. So exactly. Yeah, so that's the case. And then of course it's usually Monday to Friday. We are talking about a corporate, you know, office setup. And then in
holidays, what about holidays?
Holidays gets interesting. I think maybe we are not the best, you know, in the world, but I'm sure Germany will rank among the top 10, I'm sure. So the holidays, I think it's minimum 24 in a setup like where your audience, like after you graduate, you join as I think 24 is the minimum. Maybe it's a bit less.
27, I guess. 27 till 30.
No. 24 is the legal minimum.
Okay.
So you can't have. Maybe it is 20. Let's say 24, and it goes from there. Things gets nice and interesting, you know. So 27, 28, 30. It's already, if someone has like 30 days, that's a very good contract, I would say. You know,
I have
30 is, you know. And then in exceptional cases, I know some companies, they have like 32.
Oh,
you know. So 32.
Which is that company?
Yeah, 32 days of holidays with 35 hours of working week.
Oh.
So
that is something.
There are gems hidden out there.
So what is sick leave or sick holidays? Not holidays, sick leave we say.
Yeah. So, yes, sick absence, you know. So does not influence with this 30 days of like 6 weeks of paid holidays. You know, you get sick. You know, you get like 3 days sick, then you get a slip, you know, like from the doctor, then you are sick. It could be like 5 days, it could be 10 days, it could be 15 days, it could be a month. So it does not affect your salary, because in the social system that you pay for your, you know, health insurance and other security and so on and so on. So it's in the end it does not affect your salary, it does not affect your holidays that you have. You know, so that's the you know, on a higher level. Let's not go into the details.
So the thing is, if you're sick, it is believed that you should stay home, take rest, and then come to the office. It's not like you have to work during your sickness. So sickness are very seriously taken here, right? That is why you are not counting those days as your holidays. Those are your sick leaves. Okay.
Culturally, it was quite challenging for me at the beginning. You know, the normal tendency I was having is like, okay, it's a little bit of you know, sneeze and a cough, fine. I can go and work. I will just show how passionate I am. And then I'm sitting under my desk. I just did like, and then the next day, colleagues were like, go home. You know, my manager came in. I was like, it was a bit difficult to, you know, to take it in at the beginning, but then that's how it is.
Yeah. That's true. I'm still in that kind of a thing. If sometimes I have headache or sometimes I'm not feeling well, I still try myself to, you know, to work. But yeah, sometimes it's not good. Of course, it's not good for company, for yourself, for your health. Yeah. What about the overtime? Sometimes, like in India, we always do overtime. We are paid. We are sometimes not even paid. But how is the thing here about the overtime?
Yeah, it's as we mentioned at the beginning, whatever the rights or the contractual agreements we have, in most of the cases, it's all well lived, which means when the contract says 40 hours a week, it's 40 hours a week.
Okay.
That's it. Whatever you do more, it's counted as an extra work, and it depends on the companies and depends on the team. You get compensated in different ways.
Yeah.
Either you get compensated for the hours that you accumulate in terms of like money,
Yeah.
or you get compensated with the time back.
Yes.
So basically, let's say each day you work an hour more, or by end of the month you have like 8 hours extra.
Yeah.
So you could take it as an off. You know, or some companies they have like both options. You choose either you want money or, you know.
Yeah.
And either way, in bigger companies, the workers' council, that's a very big topic. They are quite strong here. I used to be part of one.
I've heard that it's, if you're lucky, you get into workers' council, and it's a very strong organization within a company which decides all these kind of things.
Yeah, it kind of like helps the management to make the decisions that not only like seen from one side. You know, the works council helps to make sure that things are, you know, in place as expected by the rest of the organization. So which means what I was trying to say is you can't keep pushing every day, and then by end of a couple of months you can have like 40 hours of extra work. So at some point then it becomes like the HR will come and say the hours are either going too much or go too less in the minus, and then to talk with the manager to say, hey, look, something is off the, you know, normality.
Yeah. I've heard that if you exceed that kind of overtime, you're doing a lot of overtime, then your HR, your manager would come to you and would push you to take those holidays and those kind of free time that you are entitled to.
Yeah, if not, they will be in trouble.
Yes.
Yeah, because if it gets reported to the works council, then they will ask then naturally why one employee is, you know, like
is working too hard or too much.
This also goes with the holidays as well. So if you have like, let's say 30 days of holiday, if you don't take the holiday for this year, let's say, you know, you cannot carry over all the holidays, you know. So usually you can take till March next year. It's again depends on company to companies. It's usually they try to take it in the year. If not till March, you know, and in very big organizations, depends on your role, you could still extend it a little bit. But then let's also try to ensure that the leave or the break that you get are also used, so you have a pretty
work-life balance.
Exactly.
We are talking about work-life balance here. And how was your initial days? You were, like we were talking, you were telling me you worked in a typical German company with all the senior Germans and you only non-German. So how was it? How used to be your day or working or lunchtime?
My legs start to shake by the time I entered the building, you know. But I that was a good job, because before that I was working in, I think, Burger King or some stupid crazy jobs, you know. So I wanted a proper work student, and in our time, 2000 years back, we don't get this level of international mix, you know. I'm talking about Hamburg, you know, like
which is very international.
Yeah, in that time even very less. So for me, everything is new, you know. I was exposed to a lot of things at the same time, you know. I don't know how to use the fork and knife.
I still don't know.
You are getting there, you know.
I'm
just made a few more laps before you. That's the only difference. And I don't speak German, and I don't know what these foods are, you know. I was like, what different, you know, what is. I was not pure vegetarian or something, but still, the way the meat cooked is, you know, someone is not used to it. It's not easy, and smaller things they eat quite quick. And I'm like trying to play with my small schnitzel. They are finished with their lunch and they are all waiting. So this, like, my forehead was no blackheads. We were sweating every day. You know, it was. But I think that's the only way you go through, and then you learn. You get, you know, like ahead of it step by step. And in retrospect, I think that I was lucky to get such to put myself into the situations that helped me to, you know, slowly come out of the shell and spread my wings.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So you jumped in the pool and now you can swim.
That's the only way. You cannot learn you can hear what we talk, but it's not going to help you. You need to go through this. So I highly encourage, if someone gets an opportunity, it's just a matter of time. So sooner the better.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'm still struggling with knife and fork, and then I'm like, fuck it, and I just sometimes eat with just the fork, because instead of making fool of yourself. I know one day how I ate lasagna. It was half on the table and half on my clothes. It was really shitty thing, but that's how you learn.
You cannot learn a bicycle without falling. You cannot learn swimming without swallowing a gulp of water.
Drowning. That's true.
I always tell tell to the others, it's not any you need to really think you are learning. Imagine a foreigner, or let's say a German, coming to India and then try to eat with hands. They will be also struggling, and we are not going to make fun of them because they are not able to
eat with their hands or roti or rice.
Pick a piece of chapati with their hands. They will not be able to do. And I think Germans, they are also very considerate, so they know. They
understand that you don't
and they are also open-minded, but then not doing it, stepping away, it's only going to delay the process. And then
that's a good advice.
Go have a couple of beers with them, then things gets bit easier, and then you become fluent in German. Then you don't be shy and hesitate, and then things open up.
They also open up. Yeah. So get socialize. He's not promoting you start drinking, but it's a
you need to put this
disclaimer. Yes. Okay, now I want to ask you, I mean, we have talked so much about holidays, flexibility, about working hours. So do Germany really have a perfect work-life balance? Do you think that?
Yeah, I think it's always tricky, right? The perfection is quite different, I would always see as a whole package, and then it also, the perspective changes how old you are. For someone who is like 23, 25, might sound stupid. If I look back 15 years back, when I was talking to my friends in USA who moved from India to there for their studies and job, I felt that Germany was not the right place, when in terms of like money, they were earning quite a lot, and so they had where they lived, at least a lot of Indians, and the location, things were cheaper, lifestyle was, the living expenses were cheaper and so on. But then now, if I look back and they talk to me, I feel like a bit of jealousy from their side. We're talking about like 6 weeks of holiday, sick days are not included, and then you have your protection, if you lose your job, you are socially very safe here, and so on and so on. So I feel this has more value now I'm in my 40s, so I think with my view now, I think Europe is in general pretty good, and considering the stability of the economy, Germany is a really good place, putting aside the lack of weather and
and also monetary. Money-wise, USA is better, right? If you want to earn a lot of money, go to USA, hustle, and get a lot paid. But if you want this work-life balance, there's 30 days holidays, sick leave not counted, and also freedom of roaming around Europe, seeing the beauty, then Germany is the place. So you have to make your own decision based on what do you prefer.
In the long term, I think you are not going to die in 20s, so you will live long, hopefully. So I think considering that, Germany is an attractive destination, plus someone wants to become a naturalized citizen, like from the visa to a passport holder, there the path is much easier, I think, compared.
I want to ask about the salary. So in India, there is a very much hike in the salary when you shift from one company to the another. How is the thing here in Germany?
So here it's, so you cannot expect the crazy hikes that at least during my time, I'm
today also.
It's also right. So it's like 10%, 15, 20, 30%. It's not like that here.
Why so?
On one side, you get paid more or less in a fair way, and especially as a foreign student for your first job, the Arbeitsamt, so basically it's also regulated that you cannot just take a master graduate and then pay them 25,000 euros or 20 something. It's not possible, in my first job, some company was trying to do that, and then the government stepped in. They said, no, he's a master graduate, he must get this much. And this is the national average. Of course, there is a difference in if you're working in a big companies like, I don't know, automotive industry, very big companies, or a family company. So these differences will always be there.
And also city-wise also that would be different. Like Hamburg would be higher, small city would be lesser.
Exactly. So let's say you are in one specific industry. Let's say, I don't know, IT industry or aerospace industry in a city. So the comparison should be in this industry, right? So for every job, there is always a kind of like a range that's kind of like defined. So existing colleagues in that company earns more or less that. So when they look for a fresher or experienced, the range is kind of like decided. So internally, so it's kind of like approved by the HR managers and so on. So there is always this range. So, and this range is not like this much. So it's
very
usually
narrow.
a few thousand euros plus minus. Of course, they try to get you on the lower bottom, and in your negotiation skills, you either land in the middle or get the better deal. But I have one job, let's say 50,000 euros now. So I'm going to go in the same city, in the same industry. I'm going to expect like, I don't know, 70,000 euros or something. It's hardly the case unless you have some exceptional skills, which was underpaid by an existing company. I know cases where the salaries, for example, in my own case, my salary as a fresh graduate and the jump that I had after a couple of years when I shifted my job was like really huge. But that was because I was underpaid at my first job. So, but assuming someone has a fair paying job, I don't think there is a huge hike because the companies, let's say, the companies are not going to pay you so much of money more just because they want you to come from one place, unless maybe in a senior management position, things may be different, but we are talking about
And also I've seen that people don't change their company also because they, of course, are not getting that much of hike, and also they are kind of like to stay in a stable form, like with their own set of friends, with their own set of colleagues that they already have built relationship within the company. So like we talked, it's not worth the effort to shift from one city to another, or to shift from one company to another just for a 10%, 15% hike, right?
Yeah, I mean, in my personal case, all the shifts that I made, I think I took a couple of times when I was pretty desperate. Either I didn't like the job or I didn't like that it's not giving me any growth. So I reached a moment I thought doesn't make any sense anymore at this point. Then I kind of like shifted, but I'm not the rest of the world, right? So, and then sometimes you go into a job, you realize it's not working out, then you shift, But if it is purely financial point of view, then you will start to think about, okay, I'm in Hamburg now. If I go to Munich, I'm getting 20% hike, but Munich is also crazily expensive than Hamburg, and I need to, and then almost 50% of my salary goes into the other contributions. So I think pure financial reasons of shifting maybe in a same city doesn't make sense, doesn't make any complex. But then moving in Germany, finding an apartment, it's the other big trouble.
Finding job is easier than finding
it's
apartment.
Easier.
So you also agree, there are not major hike and it doesn't make sense also. I hope you like this video, and you should like my channel and subscribe also, and also take Coracle if you are planning to come to Germany for your visa process. And we'll see each other maybe in our next video. Until then, bye Sammy.
Bye cheers.
Cheers, bye.